Let me guess, you're teaching math or some reformer classes, but you're still not getting the results and the transformation and most importantly, the income you deserve as a Pilates teacher. Your clients plateau, your cueing starts to become a little bit more repetitive, and deep down you're really wondering whether you are giving enough as a Pilates teacher. The real truth is, you're not. Why am I saying this? Because the full Pilates system involves not just mat or reformer. The full Pilates system to create real transformations and quick transformations in a client's body includes a full comprehensive system where you're teaching mat, reformer, Cadillac, chair and barrows and more accessories that were created by Joseph Pilates. Joseph Pilates did not just teach mat. He didn't just teach reformer. He created a system where everything was integrated. The results that people were experiencing were because clients were working on all the pieces of Pilates equipment. Joseph Pilates designed his pieces to make sure that they are integrated to the client's workouts, and that meant that the transformations were real. Now, you might not be interested in what Joseph Pilates created. You might not be even interested in how created his transformations. That was a long time ago, you could say to me. But one thing for sure, the method worked then. The method continued to work 50 and now nearly 60 years after his time. The Pilates system, when taught as an integrated system, is really adaptable to make sure that every single client gets benefit from the method. And not only that, your studio, your business, you as a teacher are going to manage to continue to create customer retention, which is so needed in this cutthroat industry that we're in right now. So there are millions of teachers who can teach mat. There are so many teachers that can teach reformer, but how many teachers know the real system, and how many teachers are still in business because they know the real system, they know the full integrated system? And here's the reason behind this video. I want you to take the benefit out of the full system and integrate it into the work that you currently do and know. So stay tuned to watch the whole video or listen to the full podcast to make sure that you know what systems to put into place to monetize from this. Well, first of all, if we haven't met before, my name is Anita Horry. I'm second generation Pilates teacher trainer. I'm also a business coach for those Pilates teachers who want to make the world a better place. I have been in the industry for over 2 decades, been in business for over 3, so coaching Pilates teachers became very natural to me. The reason why I came up with this channel is because I know that when I was early on in my career, I so wanted this kind of advice and nobody was able to answer my questions. I sought advice from my mentors who, unfortunately, some of them have passed on now. And in doing this set of videos and this whole channel, I'm hoping that you will get the benefit of what I've learned in the 3 decades of business and 2 decades of being in the Pilates industry. If you already do like the video, I would love you to hit the like and subscribe, because that's the only way I know that the love that I'm sharing with you and the information that I'm sharing with you is being reciprocated. And I'd love you to share it with your friends and whoever you feel needs to hear any advice about their Pilates business. Now let's start to identify how the system is integrated and how what you're already doing is so amazing. So if you're teaching mat, you know that mat work is so crucial. Yes, mat work is the basis, is the foundation of the Pilates system. This is where we introduce breath, flow and control that anchor the method. But mat does not fix the patterns, it reveals them. This is a huge differentiation that you need to understand as a Pilates teacher, and especially as someone who wants to grow your business, to be able to help your society, help the people who are in your community. Now in the mat work, you're going to see the collapsed ribs maybe, or maybe the overused hip flexors, and maybe even the shoulder dominance. You see the imbalance, but you can't always change it with body weight alone. That's where teachers get stuck. You're seeing the problem, but you don't actually have the tools or the skills necessary to be able to resolve it. Now, if we move on to the reformer, we understand that the reformer is where load is coming into play to be able to help correct these imbalances. Now, let's take a few real-world examples. So, think about the footwork in the reformer, and especially in Pilates V or in parallel feet, where maybe you'll see a dominant leg pushing harder into the bar while the weaker side lags behind. You might even notice pelvis shifting slightly with each repetition, especially in clients with scoliosis or leg length discrepancies or even postnatal instability. This isn't random. This is revealing how they stand, how they walk, and how they go on in their daily lives. In coordination, the arms may move unevenly, maybe one elbow staying wide while the other hugs in. That's your shoulder imbalance playing out, something that Matt might not have fully shown. Then, if you get into the kneeling arms or even the rowing series, this is where the reformer becomes diagnostic. Maybe one shoulder rolls forward, one scapula wings. You'll see if a client is bracing, maybe overusing the pecs, or lacking the proper integration between the scapula and the spine. You should know that the scapula should move around the ribs when we are doing some arm series. The scapula is not meant to be locked into place. The movement of the scapula allows that shoulder mobility, right? See, these are not just minor differences, they are clues. And this is where the reformer is amazing, identifying these imbalances and also helping you to stabilize. The reformer gives you a neutral, spring-loaded environment where you can watch, feel, and correct in real time. You get tactile feedback from the springs, auditory feedback from the carriage, and visual feedback when you see the client squirming trying to get into position. And here's the magic. You're not just watching, you are training them, because every single repetition they do on the reformer is going to retrain and remap their neural connections in their brain to make them work more effectively. You're retraining the nervous system, not just the muscles, and that is when real change happens. But as powerful as the reformer is, it is still only one part of the full system. That's why you need the Cadillac, the chair, and the barrels and all the other pieces in the repertoire. Now let's move on to the Cadillac. The Cadillac is underestimated to be only suitable for those injured clients or those lower level clients who need a little bit of love and tender love and care. Well, actually no. The Cadillac is the powerful piece of apparatus that creates a full body integration and resistance. It's intelligent and versatile and a very important piece of the Pilates system. Yes, it's brilliant for clients who can't yet support their body weight confidently on the mat or the reformer. But it also challenges coordination, control, and strength in a very different way to the other pieces of apparatus. So let's start with the basics. Think about the leg spring series, for example. In the leg spring series, whether you're in supine or side lying, you are allowed to isolate hip imbalances with razor-sharp accuracy. You'll see which glute fires late, which hamstring dominates, and where the pelvis starts to tip or tuck under strain. This is key when you're working with scoliosis, hip imbalances, or even postnatal recovery. Your arm spring series reveals the control and the stability in the scapula, in the shoulders. See, you'll quickly identify if your client's ribs are flaring, or maybe the shoulders are creeping up, or even if the client's core is even stabilizing. You can also scale the springs to gently retrain or seriously strengthen. I always say that the springs are like medicine. You can always add or reduce the dose according to the client's needs. Now let's not stop at the easy exercises. You know, the candle walkover, the hanging pull-ups, and many other exercises are seriously strength-based exercises that are going to challenge the most advanced Pilates practitioners. The standing arm springs or even the neck stretcher are controlling breath timing. These challenge advanced clients demanding dynamic core control, shoulder integrity, and real spinal articulation under load. In Cadillac exercises, you need mobility, strength, breath control, core connection, and timing. Exactly the same requirements sought after by dancers, professional athletes, and those serious Pilates movers. And don't forget how powerful the Cadillac can be for neurological training. You can anchor support and layer in movement at just the right angle and intensity for clients recovering from injury, or maybe managing chronic conditions, or even simply needing to repattern faulty mechanics built over decades. The Cadillac meets the client where they are, then steadily builds up the pace to take them where they need to be. It's part a support system and part trainer, so it's really giving them an integrated approach to the way that they're practicing the Pilates method. And when used with intention, it is brutally effective. Now, if you've only used the Cadillac as a gentle sidekick to the reformer or the mat, then you've really missed out on what could truly be transformative and absolutely amazing, challenging, and powerful piece of the Pilates classical system. Now, let's get upright. Let's move on to the chair where functional strength is exposed. So the chair shows real-world movement patterns and it shows them fast. It's often underestimated because it's compact. Don't let the size fool you because it's ruthless in revealing weakness, imbalance, and compensation. There's no carriage to guide you. There's nothing to stabilize you like a Cadillac. No springs to assist your alignment. So you truly are left on your own. And that's why it's so brilliant. So think about pumping, for example, which is a basic exercise, or so you think. You look at it being executed by maybe someone online, or maybe a colleague, or maybe you've been to a studio and you've seen someone work on the chair and you think, yeah, this is really easy. But hey, this is the whole Pilates method, right? But pumping looks pretty easy because you're sitting down pumping a pedal. But hang on a minute, then you realize that your clients are leaning back as they're trying to pump the pedal. They're using their neck instead of their abdominals, and they can't stop shifting their pelvis as they're trying to pump the pedal. So, this is a very simple yet extremely effective piece of Pilates apparatus to create that stability, to help create that stability. It's a core integration drill hiding in plain sight. Now, if you move on to the press down front, now you're going to see how one leg is more dominant than the other. The weaker leg hesitates, the pelvis hikes, the ribs flare, exactly what they do going up the stairs or even getting out of the car. In mountain climber or the pull-up, you'll find out real quick who's just doing Pilates and who's actually strong. These aren't just ab exercises. They demand shoulder girdle integrity, hip flexor control, and deep spinal stability. For your more advanced clients, tendon stretch, grasshopper, or even the push-ups will test coordination, breath control, balance, and strength all at once. There's no hiding. You either have it or you have to find out what you need to train. This is where the chair stands apart. It translates the Pilates principles into everyday movement. And this is why every single Pilates studio should be working on the chair. Balance, load transfer, midline awareness. Every single Pilates teacher should be focusing on creating this for their clients. And this is the best piece of apparatus to challenge all those. So whether your client is 30 or 70, a tennis player or a new mom, chair work meets them exactly where life demands they be strong. You're not just teaching exercises, you're teaching people how to walk better, lift better, climb stairs without pain, and carry groceries without twisting their spine. And the bonus? It's one of the most space-efficient pieces of Pilates apparatus ever created. So, you could easily hide it in your house. You could even use it as a chair. And if you know anything about Joseph Pilates' history, he did create the chair to be used in people's homes. He wanted his clients to take it to their homes and practice during the summer holidays. So you have no excuse about not working on the Pilates chair. Now, finally, I want to talk about another part of the big pieces of the Pilates system. The ladder barrel is often underestimated. Many people don't even want to know about it. Some people don't even know what it is. The ladder barrel is just one piece of amazing Pilates apparatus to help create spinal articulation and strength. The ladder barrel isn't about reps or load. It's truly about spinal mobility and identifying where the client's spine is locked and then creating the work to improve range, control, and freedom of the spine. Like, for example, in belly stretches, you will immediately see the client's tight hip flexors, a tucked pelvis, or thoracic collapse. It's a window into a client's posterior chain and spinal articulation. If we look at the swan, we notice how it offers a supported yet demanding extension pattern that helps clients build control and strength in the upper back without dumping into the lower back. Or for example, in the side sit-ups or the side stretches, these demand serious lateral flexion and oblique control. You'll see quickly if a client is side shifting, over-recruiting, or even lacking the thoracolumbar mobility. Every exercise on the ladder barrel requires the integration of breath control, spinal articulation, and core integration. And because the surface is curved, it's going to force your clients to move sequentially along the spine, that is, bone by bone. And you will notice where they have the lockage in their spine. This is the ultimate apparatus where you're going to teach the concept of length. Your clients are going to finish their session feeling taller more than ever before, and they're going to really find the benefit of that traction that they get when they are working on the ladder barrel. This is not just a stretch, but control through space. It is not an easy workout. So if your clients are tight, stuck, or overusing certain muscles, this piece of apparatus has to be an important part of your studio apparatus. And one huge bonus for you here is that if you do actually integrate the work of the ladder barrel into your studio and purchase a ladder barrel and teach on the ladder barrel with the proper certification, you'll be one of the very few Pilates teachers in your area that can offer a fully integrated classical system. Here's the bottom line. Mat is assessment. Reformer is training. Cadillac is restoration. Chair is function. Barrel is freedom. When you're working across the system, you're no longer patching over patterns. You're transforming them. And that means better results for your clients, better client retention. You're going to get referrals because people are going to see the transformations. You're going to get those rave reviews that your studio has always been wanting, and you're never going to be out of business. Now, how's that for an amazing deal for a Pilates studio? Now, if you're only certified on mat or reformer, then you're leaving so much money on the table. You gotta make sure that you get your certification to cover all these different pieces, and more importantly, to work them all as one and integrate them together. Wherever your clients need the work, you know you're going to take them to the right piece of apparatus. If you are interested in taking a comprehensive Pilates certification, I've been running Pilates certification programs for the past decade, and I would love to have you in the AHA family. We run certification programs annually. The system for this year, unfortunately, is fully booked, but our doors are going to be opening for the 2026 courses. If you are interested, click on the link below. You're going to get so much more information about our upcoming courses. And of course, if you're really interested to find out more about the course, you're very welcome to have a one-to-one private chat with me. Again, there's a link to a meeting, a private meeting No strings attached. I'm not going to be charging you anything for this, but I just want to make sure that the system that I offer is really serving you for your requirements and your business. If you did like the video, I'd love you to hit the like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you get notified every time I upload a video online. Until my next video, guys, goodbye for now.